Welcome to Township Talk, a TVN series featuring the latest news, issues, and trends affecting Pennsylvania's townships and their residents. I'm Katie.
And I'm Brian.
And today we're doing a special edition covering the ins and outs of the legislature. So, Brian, can you tell us a little bit about what you do at PSATS?
Sure, Katie. Well, as part of the government relations team, I work directly with the state legislature in Harrisburg to help implement legislation that impacts local governments and stop efforts that hurt taxpayers, like unfunded mandates and any legislation that would take away control from local government.
Fantastic. So, I've heard that this past legislative session was not very active. That's the language I keep hearing, but we did get a couple of wins on our end. Is that correct?
Sure, yeah. Unfortunately, the legislature as a whole did not pass a large number of pieces of legislation, but PSATS did have a number of legislative successes. The way the legislative calendar is broken down into a span of 2 years. So we just finished the 23-24 legislative session, and we are beginning to get ready for the 25-26 legislative session, which will begin in January. PSATS had a number of successes, as I said, and a big part of that was due to the hard work that members of PSATS did in contacting their legislators. When you think about it, when your residents talk to you, you listen to them, and state legislators are no different. When you talk to them, they listen to you. They want to hear the real stories that are going on in their communities, and that helps compel them to act. One of our big successes this year was increasing the cap on supervisor compensation, which was increased for the first time since the mid-90s. That has been something that PSATS has been working on for a long time, but it really gained traction this year when a local supervisor talked about the issue to one of their state representatives, and then the ball got rolling from there. In Pennsylvania, there are only 253 people who can introduce legislation across the state. Those are your state house and state senators. And really the first step to any legislation is convincing them that the idea is a good idea. There are a number of other things that we were able to do as well. This legislative session, we also increased the cap for auditor compensation from $10 an hour to $18 an hour. And also a long fought fight of instituting EV fees, electric vehicle fees, for the first time. That will take effect in April of 2025. And hopefully we will see some of that revenue go to liquid fuels dollars.
Absolutely. And just as a reminder, all of our priorities that Brian fights for and also against on the Hill do come from the resolutions process and are set by the membership. So in a way, they all sort of stem from again, those local issues, just folks having these problems with either state law or something else, and then work their way up that way.
Yes, everything that we fight for in Harrisburg comes from the resolution process. It comes from the grassroots level first, and that's where we get our marching orders from.
Wow, that's awesome to see that sort of the grassroots, just talking with your legislators really does make a difference at the end of the day.
Yes, and sometimes our successes are things that don't happen. I would say one of our biggest successes was what didn't get done. PSATS successfully stalled an effort to implement statewide zoning mandates, thanks again in a big part to our members reaching out to their state senators and House members. This package was a package of bills aimed at addressing the housing crisis, but it did nothing to guarantee affordable housing. It really just only provided more development. Township officials from across the state banded together and as one voice said, no thank you. And as I said, successfully, we were able to stall the legislation. However, with a new legislative session starting in only a few months, we expect this legislation to be back up on the table.
Good point. So because we're in between sessions, do you have some advice on what township officials and staff can do to start building that relationship with their legislators?
Don't just wait until you have a problem to contact them. Reach out to them, invite them to your township, whether it's to an official meeting or to events that you're having in your community. Also, don't be afraid to attend their events. With new sessions starting, many of them are going to be having open houses that will be publicly available on their website. So stop by and visit them and encourage them to be engaged in your community. Awesome.
And speaking of websites, I've gathered that we have a new grassroots engagement tool that's going to be coming our way very shortly.
Yes. We are very excited about this. Early next year, PSATS will be rolling out the Grassroots Advocacy Network. It is a tool aimed at helping you better communicate with your state legislators. We all know that you work tirelessly for your residents, but sometimes Harrisburg laws and regulations get in the way. So this new tool will allow you to more easily contact your legislators and give them that personal feedback on legislation. And it will be easy to use with only a few clicks.
Oh, that's true. Yes. We're hoping it's going to be nice and easy, and like you said, the way that we can sort of make it easier for you to contact your legislators and keep informed on what's going on. So looking ahead, Are there some things that we anticipate to sort of hit the ground running with in next session, or specific priorities we're going to be tackling?
Yeah, absolutely. As the new legislative session begins, I think we're going to be very much focused on right-to-know reform. That has been a big issue for a lot of our members and something that we have talked about for a long time. We did start to pick up some steam, I think, on the issue at the end of last legislative session, particularly as we have seen AI-generated, artificial intelligence-generated requests, as well as bot-generated requests. This has really begun to overwhelm municipalities and also create a cybersecurity concern for them. And the legislature has really started to pay attention to those conversations, and we are hopeful that we will be able to get something done on that front. We're also looking at legal advertising. Again, that has been an unfunded mandate that has been around for a long time. But as local papers continue to close down or move to online formats, it's really hampering townships' ability to get the message out and to follow the law. So we're hoping that maybe we can see some changes in that as well.
Fantastic. Well, we're looking forward to that. And of course, we'll keep everybody informed through all of our avenues with the morning news and the TVN. So stay tuned, and thank you so much for watching.